Alright guys, back again with another video. I know it's pretty quick, but Quadruple X wanted this video, and I'm only happy to oblige. Gonna look at my North American Sega Saturn collection. Now, unlike these guys down here, the Jap Saturn, all these titles I got back when they were new. I haven't added to my Saturn collection since I originally had it. I don't know why. It's more a respect thing. Because I was devoted to this system back in the day. I didn't have a PlayStation, and I didn't want a PlayStation. As far as I was concerned, Sony was the enemy, you know. I've kind of moved past that now, but, you know, it was Nintendo and Sega always, and I was a Sega man. And, you know, when it came down to the Sega Saturn, I was ready to go to war for it, you know what I mean? The playground was tough. But, yeah, it kind of colored my existence during those times. Because everybody had a PlayStation and N64, and I really couldn't be bothered with that shit. But, not to say I wasn't a little envious, but I want to show you what I got here. Sorry, guys. This is my original Sega Saturn box when I got it in Christmas. I don't know when. Probably 96, I want to say. It's not the launch version, so I'm guessing around 96. And I want you to look at this fucking tear right here to just show you how goddamn excited I was to get this thing. I mean, not to mention how cool the Sega Saturn actually looks, but, you know, the Genesis was the first system I ever bought with my own cash, you know. I had an NES growing up, and when I got the Genesis with Sonic the Hedgehog and plugged that in after plunking down my cold hard, you know, 8-year-old cash for it, it blew my goddamn mind, and I was a Sega man ever since. So yeah, so that's the box. That's the box that came in, and I still got it. I rescued that from the basement, as you can probably tell. But just to go over another reason why I love the Sega Saturn so much is the controller. For my money, this is the best joypad, if you will, ever made. Mostly because of fighting games. As far as I was concerned, you know, if it didn't have 6 buttons for fighting games like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, I wasn't really about it. Not to mention, the D-pad is, in my opinion, it's the best ever. I don't know why Sony and Microsoft can't make a D-pad like this, but as far as I'm concerned, the PlayStation D-pad has always been crap, and the Xbox joypad, well, I mean, that thing's a cheese grater. It'll work your thumb right off, so. That being said, I don't know where my Street Fighters went. Maybe I didn't have Street Fighter for it, you know. I played a lot of Mortal Kombat on the Genesis, and as far as I was concerned, you needed all those buttons right up top, you know, for a fighting game. So, yeah, I just love the Sega Saturn controller for a lot of different reasons. It's an old school controller, and Sega Saturn is kind of an old soul when you get down to it, but it does those old games so well. Let's go down the line. This is probably one of my most played games. Whoops. Virtua Fighter 2. Now, my manual is black and white because my system came with Virtua Fighter 2, Daytona USA, and Virtua Cop. And those I got down here somewhere. Yeah. See, that's what it looked like. Not for resale. Virtua Cop. And somewhere I've got Daytona USA, but I've got some other games here. This is this case here is a little funky. This is what Funkoland used to give out with their loose games. Let's see, Virtua Fighter Remix. I don't know if I have any others. No, I got some like Xbox 360 games. So definitely a big fan of Virtua Fighter. Loved Virtua Fighter. And let's see, I bought this game when it came out. You can see my cases are thrashed. They're just old. You know, I've had these forever. Gun Griffin. How could you not love that game? It's unplayable as it stands now, but back in the day I bought this basically purely on the cover. I got it at like Strawberry's Music back when, if you remember that joint. And here's Knights. Awesome game. I thought this was sick back in the day. I got that 3D controller with it. I ended up picking this case up from Funkoland. They let me have it because when you got Knights with a 3D controller, it came in a jewel case. So I wanted the full nice box because I was also in love with these boxes. Now collecting for the Saturn, these boxes suck, you know what I mean, because they're always broken. I love this platformer by Crystal Dynamics, Pandemonium. This isn't an exclusive, but I remember playing this a ton. And of course, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. This game is so awesome. I love this game. Anybody that's interested, pick it up on the Xbox or PlayStation, like right now, because the HD versions are much more balanced. Bust a Move 3. Again, that harkens back to my Neo Geo love. I got that on it. Galactic Attack. This is also Layer Section in Japan. This game is really cool. It's a shooter. This is one of my only shooters, or this is my only shooter I have for the Saturn. I didn't have any other shooters at the time. But for the American Saturn, shooters are kind of rare. It's like this and Darius Gaiden. Those are the only two I can think of. I don't know if I covered this. Yes, I did. Alright, put that down because these are getting hard to put away. This is a game that I played a ton of. This is a Working Designs Albert Odyssey. And you know, I didn't have a Super Nintendo, so I was really kind of itching for RPGs, you know, JRPGs, back when everybody loved them. And they were actually kind of, I don't know, you know, basically everything was likable about these games back then. Now, I haven't liked a JRPG since these days, you know. I didn't play the Final Fantasies on PlayStation, which I know some of you really were lucky enough to play those games, and I have nothing but respect for those, but Final Fantasy, the first one I bought new was 10, and I fucking hated it. I thought that game was shit. So then, I'm going to get into the last year, basically. At some point, everybody that was big into Saturn knew that it was dead. It was going to die. So there was like only a few games left, and you had to find them. So one that I picked up, purely because I liked Working Designs from playing Albert Odyssey, was Magic Knight Ray Earth, which has this beautiful cover. This game is really short, and you follow, you know, these three girls that got kind of transported from their Japanese high school, I hope high school, into this magical fantasy universe. There's a lot of kind of Lolita humor, I should say, but I found the game like really, this is going to sound kind of milquetoasty, but it's a charming game. I really like that game, and I've played through it a bunch of times. I love it. Shining Force 3, Yeah, this is one of the last Epic games. And these I bought off the shelf, if you can imagine. Bought these off the shelf. Sadly, I never picked up Guardian Heroes, and the only way I'd pick that up, I've told myself, is if I find it on a shelf somewhere. I'm not eBaying this stuff, because unfortunately everybody had a PlayStation and nobody had a Saturn, so it's expensive. So I'll show you the real gem, and the first game I ever pre-ordered. Okay, and when I say first game I ever pre-ordered, this is back in 1998, when you went up to Funkoland, which is now GameStop, and you said, I want to pre-order a game. And they looked at you and they were like, you want to pre-order a game? Why? You know, they weren't pushy back then. It's so funny, but this is the first game I ever pre-ordered because it was super hyped. And we got to go to the safe again for this one. So, take these guys out and I'll dig deep. And I'm sure you guys have already figured this one out. Yep. Panzer Dragoon Saga. My copy, I paid retail for. Luckily enough. Here, I'm going to put you down for a second. Sorry about that. So that's my copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga. And unfortunately with these Saturn games, I live in kind of like a humid climate. So the end labels kind of wrinkle here and there. So after having this on the shelf for a long time, I keep it locked up now. But there's Panzer Dragoon Saga. And this game is so damn good. I want to show you guys the intro really fast. Hold on. Kill the music. There's my Saturn. You can't see it. I'll crack it up. I'll go to the switch box. I'll hit number 1 because Saturn is number 1. And this is my big giant TV that fills the room. It's warming up now. And I'll change it so you guys can see the opening. Yeah, this game, about 28 hours long, but unlike other RPGs, those 28 hours fly by. There's no filler whatsoever in this game. The combat system is absolutely unique. You fly around, you have airspace around your enemies and you're flying a dragon, and there's safe spots, medium safety spots, and extreme danger zones. So you constantly have to, be flying around your enemy, keeping yourself safe, firing off attacks, and, making your way through each battle. And your dragon evolves as you progress in the game. And finally, if you find enough stuff and level up enough and unlock enough of the secrets, you unlock the ultimate dragon, which is what it's called, which basically can take any form, any shape, and on the fly, depending on what enemy you're going against. So I friggin' love this game so much. And let me tell you, being envious of the PlayStation throughout those years, and then to get this as the final game, I can't tell you how much that meant to me back then. I loved it so much. And I've played through it multiple times. I revisit it every few years, if not more. But yeah, that's the best game for the Saturn right there. Unfortunately, now you can't get this game for less than 200 bones. But I'm glad I could share this with you because I really love the Saturn. Always loved the Saturn. yeah, so if you guys have any questions, please leave them below. Until next time, thanks.